This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to WFO Radio. I'm Joe Castello and super excited. We are diving into the world of NHRA Pro Stock over the past week. And today we have got Camrie Caruso, who is going to be running for Rookie of the Year, trying to make it two young Pro Stock racers go back-to-back as Rookie of the Year in the NHRA. It's going to be very interesting to see. We're going to meet Camrie just seconds from now, so stick around, those of you watching around the world, and you love Pro Stock, the factory hot rods, and you hate the fact that sometimes Pro Stock gets dissed. Well, the only recourse you have in this moment is to share the show on YouTube and comments and likes and all of that stuff. Share the show. I'm using your patriotism for Pro Stock to get this interview out there around the world, because you're going to love Camrie if you haven't met her already. Now, she's just seconds away. I do want to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO Radio, and then just mention the big breaking news that is out there this morning: the return of Austin Prock, full-time Top Fuel, Montana Brands, John Force Racing, with crew chiefs Ron Tobler and Joe Barlam. I think that is big news. NHRA putting out the tweet that says, he's back, but it's really they're back. Tobler, who retired after a great career with Ron Capps, spent the year of 2021 off, but is now back on a Top Fueler with John Force Racing. Super excited that he and Jimmy Prock are kind of under the same roof, teammates, lifelong, great friends, and the families and all of these great connections. Super exciting what's going to be happening in the Top Fuel ranks. And if you haven't already made up your mind that we're experiencing epic good news, a surge of good news in the NHRA, and of course, I don't want to say it too much because it'll be jinxed, right, by something. But we've had a lot of good news about cars and full-time seasons and all of that stuff. And now the return of Austin Prock, just another great piece of news. The people who make it possible for me to go WFO had some really great talks over the past couple of days about new marketing partnerships, but it's only because of these people. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, totalseal.com. New episodes of Hidden Horsepower getting ready to drop with Dr. Neil Cantor, a world-renowned tribologist who talks about cutting fluids and how important they are for a machine shop and all of these things. Check out Dr. Neil Cantor dropping tomorrow on the Hidden Horsepower feed. But did you know that Total Seal will sell you one ring? If you broke a ring or misfiled a ring, you can get that exact ring on the website, totalseal.com. Check them out. Also, samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Yesterday, we had Greg and Aaron Stanfield on the show. If you didn't hear it or see it, it's available on WFOradio.com, the audio and video, of course, our YouTube channel. And it was great. But, they've got Samtech grads all over that place, Stanfield Racing. And I think it is a great key to show you what's up with samtech.edu and how there are people going there and getting their bearing, their knowledge for this engine building, CNC machining, motorsport, EFI tuning world out there. Call Brian Massengill. Tell him you heard it on WFO Radio. Even if you're just kicking tire about the school, that's okay. Samtech.edu. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. I have been pushing the dragster adventure for novice fans, right? You're in the stands, you're watching drag racing, you wonder what it would be like to drive one of those dragsters. That's great. And you can do it. Of course, start at $399, which is not very much considering you have next to no other effort or expense, right? You show up with the clothes on your back and you leave with the experience of a lifetime. But maybe you want to drive an alcohol funny car. They can make that happen for you too. Go to frankhawley.com. You'll be learning from one of the best. And frankly, this is the one that keeps me going with a little nitro in my coffee mug. Marvin Rodak and rodakscoffeeandgrills.com, located in Fort Worth, Texas. Grills and tools and tips and information and hot sauces and spice rubs and everything that is great to grill. But he also does gourmet coffee and he'll ship it out to you around the world. rodakscoffeeandgrills.com, 817-924-6821. Rodax. And finally, our Patreons, patreon.com/WFO Radio. We picked up a bunch of Patreons this month, people who want to pay to go behind the scenes at WFO Radio and support the show in one way or another. You can get us at WFOradio.com, patreon.com/WFO. WFO Radio. And welcome to new Patreons. You'll get your welcome message very, very soon. Remember, I underpromise and overdeliver. So assume you'll get nothing, and maybe you'll get something, right? But you'll definitely get the feeling of helping the show. All right. Here is someone that we spent some time together during the pandemic, like on Fireball Fridays on her YouTube channel. And now she's going pro stock racing. One of the best decisions I think that they've ever made as a family. Miss Camrie Caruso. Camrie, welcome back to WFO. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm real excited to talk to you about this because I think this is a blockbuster story. I want to talk about testing and the car, but I want to make sure everybody knows Camrie Caruso. Mark Caruso is your dad. Papa Joe is your grandfather. You were kind of born into a drag racing family, and you have driven many different types of race cars and even had success in A-Fuel. Just give us your racing resume to this point.
I started in juniors around 8, and I raced that till I was around 16. And when I turned 16, I went down to Frank Holly to get my Super Comp license and moved up from there to Top Dragster, and then moved up to Top Alcohol Dragster with Randy Meyer. And then I went back to Top Dragster. Then I went to 632 in PDRA. And this year we're going pro stock racing.
Wow. That is a wide variety of cars and equipment, right? The A-Fuel car, you got to win in A-Fuel also. So it's not, it's not like you were bouncing around. Like you've had success in these cars, but top drags, junior dragsters, top dragsters, A-Fuel dragsters. So some might think you're a dragster girl, but no, not really. 632 door slammers over on the PDRA side. And before we get into pro stock, mention Frank Hawley too, right? I was just talking about Frank and how he's a great place for people to start off their championship quest. Clearly it's worked for you also.
I love Frank. I've been there a total of, I believe, 4 times now. And it's been awesome. Every time I've gone, I've learned something new. He's been there every step of the way, from Super Comp to Top Dragster to Top Alcohol to door cars, and I'm excited. I'm sure I'll go back at one point.
Oh, that's great. Well, we talk about Frank and everybody hears Frank's name all the time, but it's not just the dragster adventure where you can go have fun with dragsters, although it is fun. The guy is, he's got a program, and it's about the mental side. And now you're going into the deep, deep shark tank of pro stock. What made you guys make this decision? You obviously have a passion for racing. Your dad has got such a passion for racing. And as you scanned the landscape, what made you decide that pro stock is where you want to be?
It just kind of all fell into place. We were in 632 last year with a clutch and a 5-speed, and kind of like mimicked the pro stock setup. And we were all ready to go mountain motor racing for this year. And then a lot of things just fell into place that made sense for us to go NHRA Pro Stock. And it's kind of just, that's how it started.
That's great. No, I'm excited because I have been wondering, Erica Enders set this bar out there, and so much has been made of her life and career and success. And so many young lady racers have come into the sport, not only because of Erica, but some because of Erica. And many because drag racing's awesome and they love it, but not really a lot in pro stock, right? Like pro stock has been like a different road, the A-Fuel and the Top Fuel and going fast. So for you to go down a road and run a full season in pro stock, that's exciting to me. And I guess things just fell into place. You got a great car, you got a great team, but what do you think it's going to take to compete with the incredible racers we've seen in pro stock?
Honestly, like you've mentioned, Erica has done so much with her career in racing, and she has set the bar really high. She's accomplished so much, and she's worked for it, and she's done really well. And a lot of the newer racers like Dallas and Kyle and Aaron and TJ, they're great racers too. So it's just going to take all of us being on our game and working hard, and hopefully it'll pay off.
Exactly. And everybody's out there on the web weighing in, saying what's up. Derek, one of our Patreons,
Hi.
saying what's up. Lonnie, everybody's saying what's up to Camry. What's up, CC, says Jim Essick out there. And where are you, in the shop? Like, that's pretty nice.
I am. This is part of the shop. The the offices are that way. And then there's Steve.
Hey, what's up, Steve? There he
And then
is.
the parts room is behind, like in front of me. So, yep,
Excellent.
I'm at the shop.
Okay, so you know that I love pro stock, and it's one of my favorite categories, if not my favorite category, bar none.
I
As much as I
heard you
love
know
them,
how to work on them too.
I removed this valve spring. this is the extent of my knowledge. No, I packed a parachute. I've done some stuff. I replaced the rear end gear. I have done some stuff. You're not soliciting help, are you? Yates doesn't want me touching that thing.
I mean, I don't know. If you want to come hang out and help out, we might not be opposed to it.
All right, good. Well, that's good to know that we've got more friends out there in the pro stock world. But right now, you're the best person on the planet to explain to people the difference in driving a pro stock car versus all those other things that you listed out there. You've been in an A fuel car. You've driven a Randy Meyer racing A fuel car, right? Championship caliber. You've done all of these things. There are people out there, I think they're crazy, that just don't understand or appreciate the deets when it comes to pro stock. Like, how hard is it? What's it like? So you are now the ambassador for pro stock as someone who is going through the Jedi training of being a pro stock driver. Let us know.
So honestly, I'll be the first one to admit I did not realize everything that goes into having a pro team and young pro stock racing. It's been awesome to learn. I have really great people in my corner helping me. But everything matters. How you index spark plugs, to how much fuel you put in, to how you hold the clutch pedal, to every single thing matters in pro stock. And it's basically you have to be perfect. And everybody has to be perfect. Your crew, your engine, your car, you. So it's definitely been a learning experience, but I love it. And I'm excited that I have really good people in my corner to help me.
Yeah, let's talk about those people. Jim Yates, who has been out there, Jamie working with Kenny Delco and Jim kind of helping out, but now he is your crew chief. And that's exciting. This guy's a world champion. He's a deep thinker. I love Jim a lot, and he's like one of the great, what I would call like epic failures of my life, in that we've been talking about having him on WFO for a long time, and I want to have Jim Yates on, and it just hasn't pulled together, and now he's back full time. So maybe after you guys go out there and get a good qualifier or a big win or something. But what's it like working with Jim Yates, someone who has like championship pedigree and rep?
So my obviously top people on my team are Jim, Mike, Sean, John, and then Papa and Dad, obviously. And between Jim and Mike, they've taught me so much on how pro stock works, because they're the pros. I'm a newbie. But Jim has been a good help, and I'm excited that he has experience in tuning and driving. So I'm excited to hear all of his stories and all of his advice and hopefully learn from it.
Excellent. Now, what about, that cockpit feel, right? The clutch and the pushback. And when you rev it up, you drove a Liberty last year, I guess. So you got some of that feeling, but cutting a light, not too much pressure, all of those, like the stuff people take for total granted, right? Those stage lights, they just come on automatically, except it's very difficult in there. What has it been like getting used to all of that and, 500 cubic inches?
It's definitely been it was definitely more different than I thought it was going to be in the beginning. I thought, okay, I drove a clutch car last year. It won't be that much different. It's way different with the EFI and everything, but I'm excited. And the clutch definitely is different. Like, you have to stage the same way every single time. You have to hold the pressure the same, but it's fun. And the shift lights come a whole lot faster.
Right. You're rowing those gears very rapidly. And, you've gone faster, though. So how does the run feel? Does the run feel fast? Does the run feel, I've been faster, but you're doing more? There's so much going on inside the cockpit, and the driver affects everything.
I think that it's similar feeling, like ET wise, to my 632 car. But like, it feels faster because there's more going on right away. It's fun, but there's a lot to do. Like the burnout, you have to be a specific way. You can't be on the rev limiter all the time. I learned that. And then um, you have to you just have to be super careful with everything you do to make sure it's the same way every time, because every little thing affects these cars, because everything matters.
Everything matters. That's Pro Stock. And for you fans of Nitro, who I'm not diminishing Nitro in any way, everything matters there too. But it's, if you miss the shift point by 50 RPMs, you've ruined it.
Exactly. And the best way that I could explain it is you don't have to just do your job. The car has to do its job. The guys have to do their job. I have to do my job. Like everything has to come together for it to be a good run.
Team Motorsports. Let's check out some photos. Here's you in the pit area, checking out the machine behind the trailer. You guys are ready. You certainly have plenty of pit equipment. There is the car, and there's you in the car. So let's talk about
that car that you just showed. That was when I was at Frank Holly's getting my super gas license to go into 632.
Oh wow, okay.
Yep,
excellent.
That was my first time in a door car ever.
Some people, dragster girls don't, like being inside there. Do you like it more or less? Doesn't matter. You're in a race car.
I mean, honestly, I'll race whatever. I don't really have a preference. I'm super excited to stick with Pro Stock and see what we can accomplish in years to come. But I do love dragsters as well, so I'm not opposed to anything.
Well, that's a good attitude to have. Powerbuilt Tools jumping on board to have a sponsor, to be able to put together a sponsor like that, and they're going to support you. And they've been involved in drag racing and behind your career and others very well. And to tell us about how that deal came together and the confidence that it gives you to know that you've got those guys behind you.
We have known the Powerbuilt people for probably, I think, going on 4 years almost. And Des and Greg and everybody at All Trade and Powerbuilt, they are truly amazing people, just on a friendship level, even out of the whole marketing partner level. But I'm excited to be able to put something together with them because, one, we use their tools all the time, so we know they work, and it's been cool to see them become a household name in the racing world. I'll get messages from other teams saying, hey, how can we get Powerbuilt in our trailers too? So it's been really cool to see it develop, and I'm excited to represent them and bring them some more relationships.
All right. Okay, let's talk about the car, because I think that's one of the big exciting aspects of this. And I don't know exactly the details, so you're going to firm it up for me. The car, the chassis, I don't know where that came from. Maybe it came from the same place, but I know there is a connection with the power plants, the engines, to Titan Racing Engines, which was Gray Motorsports, and that you have several engines that were championship engines when Tanner Gray used them, and the Titan guys are the guys who build them. They're just under a different name. So from what I understand, you're pretty much jumping into, or maybe you're not going to use that equipment right away, but you are going to have championship equipment. What lay it out? What's the reality?
So basically the whole lowdown on all of the equipment that we have is the car that I've been driving and have been testing in and will drive for this season. It was Alex Laughlin's Pro Stock car from last year. We do have a second car that will be here tomorrow, and we have 4 engines that were Gray's when Drew and Tanner ran. We do have all 4 of those here. I will be running them as well as the other car when it comes out. Titan Racing Engines is what Gray was. So everything from stock to pro stock to dirt track to sprint cars, it is an engine shop. It's not just a race shop. So they can do everything and anything to do with engines. They do have a really big LS project in the works right now. But so my car is prior Alex's car, and then the Gray car hasn't been really run a whole bunch. It used to be Shane's that will be here tomorrow. And then the 4 engines will be the engines we will be running this year.
That's great. So and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's not like we got a R&D from scratch, right? I'm sure like things have changed over the couple of years, and there's always little evolutions and all, but you are giving Jim Yates tools to work with.
Yep, and the guys that built those engines are with us still. Mike Smith and Steve Johns, they're still here. They still work on them. They have done amazing progress in the short time that we've had with them. And I think we'll be ready to go play with the top qualifiers and be ready to go.
There you go. Your dad is out there saying, what's up? What's up,
Hi,
Mark?
Dad.
How are you? Lauren. Hi, Dad. Lauren.
Thank you.
Lauren saying good luck this year in Pro Stock Camry. Jerron settles the flying airbrush, says we've got an unveiling for Camry coming up soon. Tell me about it.
And I'm super excited. We've been going back and forth for years about him painting a helmet for me, and it just hasn't worked out till recently. So I'm excited, and it will be ready to use at Pomona.
Okay. And he told us, though, Jerron is kind of in the penalty box right now. He said he was going to debut a new helmet on the show, and then I see it on Facebook, and he didn't send me the link, and I was a little sad, but it's okay.
Well, mine will be done shortly, and I'm excited for it, and it'll be ready for Pomona. So
Excellent.
I don't think it'll be ready for Phoenix test. Derek,
okay.
Is there a major would be cool for Camry? So I thought about that whole
Camry and a
opportunity
Camry,
because there's actually a Toyota shop across the street from us, and they have a lot of Lexuses over there. And I'm like, oh, maybe I could get a Camry for Pro Stock, but I don't know that that's an option. But I've definitely thought about it, so we'll see.
Well, it definitely makes sense. Jim is out there, says it will be a dream come true to see Camry versus Erica in the final. Can't lose either way. Okay. Erica has done such a great job of making being a girl in drag racing not even a thing anymore. And she's just Erica, this intense competitor who can go 00 at will whenever she needs. But I think that you being there and the possibility for some Camry Erica matchups will, I don't know, reinforce, reignite, change the people's attitudes towards that. Have you given thought to that? Obviously, she's she's our greatest drivers of all time. You are a rookie, but you could find yourself next to Erica Enders in race 1.
So honestly, the whole racing against Erica would be awesome for me, an awesome experience and something to really be excited about either way. We've known Erica for a while. She's been our friend for a while, and she's done amazing things, and nobody can take that from her. Nobody can be the first because she is the first. So I'm excited to just have that competition because it drives me to want to achieve the same thing she has. So I'm excited for it. And either way, it'll be a cool experience.
That's awesome. So you are going to go to the Arizona test though. And really, it sounds like you're just trying to get as many laps in as is possible, right? Because every run down the racetrack is a learning experience.
Yep. We tested for 4 weeks straight in Florida. We came home for a few days and went back and came home and went back and came home and went back. And we are taking this week and next week off, and then we will head to Phoenix and test with everybody else, and then we will head to Pomona and start our season.
Awesome. Now you've been very savvy, you and your dad, with the Fireball Friday and like just kind of like we do also, right? Like we've connected with the shows to have fun and keep the community together. But you're also trying to be an innovator in fan connections, right? And so you've started a fan club. Everybody, today, the first airing of this is January 27th. What I'm telling you about ends on January 31st. So we got a couple of days to go for the first group of the Camrie Caruso fan club. Tell us about that and how people can get involved to become a founding member.
So I actually can't take the credit from coming up with it. It was Dad's main idea, and then we just kind of tweaked it to work for the best. And it's something really cool. It's a founding members fan club till the 31st. And on the 1st, we will go through and yes, Taylor, and I'm your number one too.
How great is that? that Taylor
I
Nobile
love
is
Taylor.
watching this show. She's never watched the show ever in the history of WFO, but now she's watching because we have Camrie on. I am going to mark that down. All right.
We've
Good
been
news.
friends for years, and she's awesome, and her whole family. I love them all. But so we did the fan club thing. It's the limited edition T-shirt, the hero card, the welcome letter, 10% off all merchandise in the future. But on February 1st, we will choose the first winner of 9 to be able to come to a race and crew on the car with us for a weekend. And I think that's a cool experience because a lot of people don't necessarily get to have the experience of crewing on a Pro Stock car. And I feel like it's of interest to a lot of people. So we're excited to have 9 people total throughout the season come hang out and crew on the car and be a part of the team. And I think it's a good addition. It will end the 31st, and then February 1st will be the first winner. And then March 1st, we'll choose 2 more and just going on like that until we choose all 9.
I love that. And you get free labor.
Yeah.
People to
We
work
can
on the
use
car.
that.
That's it. Well, listen, all you people out there, it's worth doing it. Just touching a Pro Stock car is a big deal. Like if somebody lets you touch a Pro Stock car, that has separated you from 99.9% of the drag racing
A lot of
fans out.
people will cut your hands off if you try and touch the Pro Stock car. I'm not
That
going
is
to
true.
lie.
Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Where do they join, Camrie? Where do they go to join the
So-
fan club, Camrie?
You can go to CamrieCaruso.com, and it's right on the homepage. The banner, it talks about it, and then it has a little button underneath that says enter now, and you just click on that button and it'll bring you to the page, and you fill out your t-shirt size and then go through with everything else, and you're entered. The shirts will ship out February 1st, close to that. I mean, there's a lot of shirts to ship out, so it might not all go out on February 1st, but I'm going to try my best.
All right, now it's
And-
time for a couple of get-to-know Camrie Caruso questions from the WFO Universe out there. Put it in the chat section, guys. We're going to learn a little bit more about Miss Camrie. Like Josh Osborne wants to know what your favorite drag strip is. That's a good starting question.
I think my favorite racetrack would be Norwalk because of the ice cream.
Yeah, I think that is a pretty good statement right there. I'm super excited to go back to Norwalk and have our, hey, maybe you could be in our ice cream eating contest this year.
I would definitely participate in that.
All right, we're going to put you on the list of possible contestants. You know, as we get closer and closer, we got it. We lay it all out for star power and all that. And I think you're gonna be in the conversation, certainly. Max wants to know if the second car is just a backup car. Yeah, there was discussion as the rumor mill. You know the rumor mill, Camrie, right? Like you guys are gonna have.
I love the rumors. They teach me things I didn't even know. No, the car is not a backup car. It will be making its debut later this season.
Oh, see, look at that. So the 2-car team thing is true.
Yep, the car just won't be making it out for the first part of the season. After our little month-long break is our goal to have the second car out.
Excellent, exciting. All right, Mariah wants to know, what made you start racing? Like, what made you start racing? Like you were forced to start racing. You will race, Camrie.
I was not forced. It was a choice. But I've always been at the racetrack since I was a baby. So it's always been something that I've loved and something I've wanted to continue to do. And Dad and Papa have always supported that. I never really was into a bunch of sports in high school because I'd rather be racing. So that's how I started. It was a family thing. Still is.
Excellent. Yeah, well, exactly. And Papa Joe, if you guys don't know, her grandfather is just a great guy. Great.
I always
super
tell
sweet.
everybody, I'm like, if you don't like Papa Joe, there's something wrong with you. Because
Yeah.
he's the best.
He is. He's old school, right? He's like one of those old school guys that does it right. All right, Derek, we answered this question already. He wants to know, how old you are, but how if you started out in juniors. Talk a little bit more about your juniors career, and you're definitely going to be one of the younger drivers in Pro Stock.
Yep. I'm 23. I will turn 24 right before Pomona. The 14th is my birthday. And I started in juniors when I was 8. And obviously you have to progress through the ET categories as you get older and everything. We did a lot of local races. We did a lot of ADRL and PDRA during juniors. Thank you. It was fun. We used to go to one racetrack on one day of the weekend and then go to the next day. So we raced a whole bunch in juniors. I do have a brother who raced with me in juniors. Dad took off a few years of his own racing to make sure we had the best time in juniors, and I loved every minute of it.
Excellent, excellent. Taylor says, fun fact, Camry names every race car. So what's the name of this race car? Thank you, Taylor. Thanks for the inside questioning.
She is definitely correct on that. This one is a little different than normal. One of my crew guys actually named it. Its name is Marge. I don't know why, but its name is Marge.
I like it. Not so large Marge. Jim says he loves the personality. Dragster Jeff goes, I'm the father of a lady racer. I pull from them all except when they're in the other lane, says Dragster Jeff. That's great. Okay. Pat says, what adjustments did you make as a driver from top dragster to pro stock? Like, that's a good question mentally. What did you have to switch up, learn new things?
So honestly, like the biggest thing as it changes, obviously we've always had partners and we've always had relationships and marketing partners that we've worked for, but it was also a hobby for me. Like I had full-time jobs outside of the racing world. I work for Titan Racing Engines now, and Wright Trailers, as a lot of you know, but it's a job now, and I have to be perfect. I try to be perfect every time I'm in the car. Obviously, I do make mistakes like anybody, but it's a job now.
That's great. That's great. No, so now that's a good attitude, though. Like that's the difference. And someone might be thinking about the way I hold the wheel or the way I get in the car. And the answer is no, this is now my profession. I have to excel at this because this is my job. That is a great attitude. And I think it's relatable, right? Here we go.
Yeah.
Dad wants to know. Ask what the engines' names are too. Okay, so
let's just get this out there.
Do it.
My car is Marge. The gray car is Henry. And then the engines are Mario and Luigi. I don't know what the other two engines are going to be yet. I haven't figured that out.
Mario and Luigi. I like it. I like the Mario Brothers action. So we got Marge and we got Henry. Okay, so and by the way, you don't have to answer every question that a WFO person asks, but please do if you know the answer or want to answer it. Like Roger Richards is excited about the second car, and who's going to drive that?
I don't really know yet. We'll figure it out. There's a few options that we've had discussions about. There's also been a few calls for leasing it. There's just a lot that can happen between now and May. So
got it.
We'll announce it when it gets closer, but there's definitely really exciting names that might drive it.
Excellent. What about your dad? Do you think he has what it takes to drive pro stock?
I have been bothering him since the 632 days to get in and get his license. He is going to get his license in a pro stock car this season, and what races he attends and races at, that's up to him, but I hope that he will race a few. My personal choices for him would be all of them, but that might not be possible. So I prefer Norwalk and Epping and Charlotte for him if he has to choose a few.
I like it. I like it. Look at that, Mark. Well, I agree, though. I agree. This guy has done so well, and I can't ever forget how excited he was, qualifying for the U.S. Nationals a couple of years ago, and just the big moments. And I think this would be great. Are you ready for that? You've talked about being a sportsman racer. Now you're a professional racer. Let's talk about relative anonymity of the sportsman racer, right? Like, racers know racers, but you're not on Fox Television Network all of a sudden. Now you're going to be. And you're going to, I would imagine, get a rush of new fans, people interested, just covered in a different way because you're a pro driver. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I'll tell you, it's been an adjustment. Like with the whole fan club thing, I was like, Dad, like, no, nobody's going to be interested. Like, I'm not famous. I don't have fans. Like, it's just not how it is. But it's been really cool to see all the people that support us and want us to do well, and all the friends and family we've made over the years. I'm excited. It should be cool, but it is a whole different ball game. You have to be aware that there's cameras watching you. So you have to be a good sport, which I always aim to be. You have to always have a smile on your face. You have to be careful of what you say and who you're around. And it's an adjustment, but I'm excited for it.
Right. And your dad's got a conversation going back and forth with Roger Richards, the legendary geezer. It's a compliment because he said your dad's too old to race
He's
pro
not
stock.
old. He's not even 50 yet.
What? How old is your dad?
He's 49.
What?
Mhm.
Mark is 49. You know what?
He has a long racing ahead of him. He has a lot of racing left. I promise.
Just to put it into perspective, and I don't tell people this often, but on when is it? Sunday, I will turn 49, the same age as your dad. But that makes me feel a lot less accomplished. Look at all the stuff he's done, and I've done nothing. I've done this.
Oh, you've done so much.
I've
No,
done
but
little.
Dad truly is. He's not old yet. He's
No.
going to get old eventually, but he has a lot of racing left, and I'm excited to push him to get his license and compete. And it'd be really cool to get to race against my dad because I've never gotten to.
Wow, there it is. A little more effort, and Taylor is out there. No way I would have thought 32. I guess talking about your dad. Yeah, pretty amazing. But you know, age, right? It's totally different now than it was. A couple of friends and I were just talking about this, and the whole range of what's possible at a certain age, like all of that is being completely shifted now. And so, no, 49 is not old at all. People are healthier. Your dad is full of, vigor, and he is out there getting it done. So yes, absolutely.
I
Not too old.
see that someone mentioned Jim getting back in the car. He likes
Yes.
to remind me every now and again that he can fit into my race car and he will drive it if need be.
Might that be a good thing though, right? Like for Jim to go
No,
out
I
there.
don't want him to drive my race car.
It's already started. That's great.
No,
Now
but if that's what he wanted and that's what worked out, then maybe. But he always makes jokes that he can squeeze into my race car if needed.
Squeeze is the operative word. We talked to Aaron Stanfield yesterday, and he told us a little bit about being a smaller person, being a challenge for linkage, geometry, and all of those elements. What has it been like for you acclimating to the cockpit of the race car? You know, no pro stock racer is like a massive person, Doug Herbert style, but what about that? Adjusting the car to make you comfortable in it?
So it's definitely been a challenge. My seat, if anybody at the NHRA races wants to come look at it, you're more than welcome to. It's about 6 inches tall and very thick. My pedals had been moved. My steering wheel moved. My Liberty shifter was moved back 5 inches. It's definitely been an adjustment for the car. So not anybody could just get in my race car and drive with my seat. They'd probably have to get a new seat poured. But Aaron, I'm sure he's similar sizes and he knows how it is. It's definitely different to be smaller because everything has to move to you because you still have to be in the cage. So it's been, the car went to Jerry Haas prior to it coming to the shop, and that's where all the adjustments were made.
Excellent. Scott says, what's your car's name? It's Marge, Scott. Where were
Marge.
you? What's Marge? I like the name Marge.
I
right?
found that out on Facebook, to be honest.
Oh, it was named without even your consultation.
Oh, yeah, it was on Facebook. I had people sending me screenshots of Facebook. They're like, you named your car Marge? I was like, I did? Maybe.
All right, so
yep.
Chuck mentions the youth evolving our sport, and this is very important, right? Like drag racing, would it be a 2-generation sport where these people invented this great sport and their children liked it, but the grandchildren could care less and, don't want to be involved or don't want to put in the work, or you hear all the rep, right? You hear all of that stuff. But then last year, look at pro stock, like a total youth takeover. Erica is joking about how she's a grandma, which is obviously not true, but that was her joke, right? How everybody is like under 30 and Kid Chaos is around 30 and Dallas and Mason, like young youth movement, and they can all drive. Of course, Aaron, did that pull you to pro stock, like wanting to go compete against this wave of young racers and throw yourself into that mix?
I mean, I definitely thought about it. My first thoughts of a door car were pro mod. They always have been. And then 632 happened, and that really changed my outlook. Okay, I really like shifting. I like the clutch cars. I like door cars. I like all of this. and then realizing, okay, there's so many young people going into pro stock. I can do it too.
That's fantastic. All right. What about the whole, like long term of this? There's discussion about Factory X, maybe becoming pro stock, maybe somewhere down the road. You just made an investment, but that won't be happening tomorrow. Like have you plotted a long term plan? Like once you get in, rarely do people get out.
So I personally don't really care for the new class just because it just doesn't gain my interest, but I will go watch it just because I want to learn more about it. But I'm definitely me, Dad, Papa, the guys here, Jim. We're all in it for the long haul. We're not going to just be here for a year and leave. It's definitely going to be a big deal. I told my mom that I wanted to race and get as many world championships as I possibly can. So we're here for the long, and we're excited for it. But I don't really know about the whole new class that much. They say it's supposed to be really affordable, but I don't see how it could be.
Drag racing, right? Like what in drag racing is really affordable? I don't know. Maybe a ticket and general admission.
Yeah, I don't know. And like a lot of people are like, oh, the youth don't want to put in the work. Or some like perfect example is I love racing. I want to race every day of my life for as long as I live. My brother, he doesn't really care for it. So it just depends on the person, really.
Maybe that's because you're, the standout. He needs just a little
He was
time.
really good in juniors. I don't know. But he's going to make his appearance at the racetrack a few times this year, I think. But
How old is he?
He just turned 20 in October.
Oh, give him time. He'll come back. Like
He loves the video games and he likes classic cars a lot, but he doesn't really like racing.
Well, it's not for everybody, right? It's a unique thing. Jay says he joined your fan club already on the 4th. He's very excited. Jay is a WFO.
I promise I will get packages out as soon as possible.
Listen, don't worry. This audience understands delay in packages. Okay. If anyone understands, it's the WFO Universe, and it's you'll get it when you get it. This is a very patient audience. What's your primary social media feed? For people who want to follow this whole journey.
So Caruso Family Racing on Facebook is where you will see all the updates and me post a lot. On my personal page, I don't really do much on Facebook except racing, and then on Instagram, Camrie Caruso Motorsports, as well as the Caruso Family Racing. Also, follow my dad. You'll see everything as well. He shares it all. But those are the main ones. I'm trying to get into YouTube more, but I'm sure Joe could attest. It's different.
I'm learning, and it is different,
Same.
and I feel sad. I feel sad, Camrie, that I didn't push harder earlier on with YouTube because now I'm asking everybody to subscribe and click the bell and comment and all that stuff, right? Like do it for the Caruso page too, guys. But please. But now I'm seeing these people, right? And all they're doing is like they're blowing up themselves inside cars and they're getting millions of subscribers and dollars. And I'm like, what? I'm doing this real.
Well, I was doing a vlog. I've been working on a vlog from testing for probably like 3 weeks now. And every time I think I'm finished, I'm like, wow, it doesn't look like this person. So I go and edit it more. And I'm like, this is so hard.
It is. It is hard. Well, I try to not edit anything ever. It's a good policy for me. And because, editing, then it takes time. You get bogged down. You got to do it perfect right the first time. And it is what it is.
Sometimes Dad says the F word. So I do have to edit it. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. There's character in the F word every once in a while. I think everybody uses.
Parents don't really like their kids watching it, so
Children
I try to
are
be.
There is
PG.
that box is this made for kids? No, it is not made for kids.
No,
Tony says, big
not
question.
if Dad's in it.
Which is why we love him. Which one of the big boys are you going after to make the statement? All right, so that's a loaded question. We don't want to get you in trouble with anybody, but what about that? Like
I'll be completely transparent with you. Sadie Glenn will do all my pictures and videos, and then Elon Warner helps me with my public relations stuff. They're both amazing. Well, Sadie's married to Dallas Glenn.
Yes.
And down in testing, I was really good on the tree and everything. So I was talking to Sadie one day and I was like, I just want you to know I'm coming after your husband for his lights. So
Dude, that's a good bar to go after, right? How great is Dallas last year? Like he needs
he's
double O.
amazing.
What were your
So,
lights?
I had 000, and then I was between -4. We had a little -16 for a minute there, and then 228. So we're pretty good on the light situation.
Yeah. I mean, it's better starting off there than somewhere else. Like, oh my gosh, I can't cut a light. No, you can cut a light. Mike Firebird says, do you still have the live feed show with your dad?
I do. We don't do it every Tuesday just because of we're trying to get ready and he has to be at work. We have company up north still. Him and my grandpa work every day. They work really hard all week long. And then me being down here, it's just a little harder to do it every week, but we are trying to stick to once a month right now. And he's sick, so he can't do it right now, but we are going to aim for next Tuesday for this month.
Excellent.
Look, I'm trying with the YouTube. It's really hard.
But you know what? I've got followers spread out all over the place, like Twitter. Like Jim Essex says, you're not on Twitter. I saw your name on Twitter. I tweeted at you for this, but is it not active?
I do have a Twitter. Sadie is helping me get it all updated, so it will be ready to go by race season.
Sadie just got Dallas on Twitter at the end of last year with intense pressure.
Yep,
Sorry,
she's
Sadie.
awesome. I love her. She makes sure that I'm ready for anything that I need to be ready for. Like, she set up my whole media day for me. She's absolutely amazing. Her and Elon have kept me on track in the social media and public relations department.
Well, they're great. Elon, who has helped WFO behind the scenes as well, and Sadie very often will send us photographs to use on the air. Mitchell says, and this you answered this before, but I guess he's just coming on. How is your relationship with Erica? My opinion is that it's really good, but.
Yep. So I worked with them for a few months back in 2020, and I've always looked up to her, and I still look up to her, and she's an awesome person, even outside of racing. So awesome. Her sister. She's awesome as well. They're like a package deal.
Yes, they are a package deal. Yes, Courtney. And by the way, they are going to be in sunny South Florida on Sunday at something called Fast Expo in Miami. Any South Floridians down there. And so this is your Twitter handle, the approved one, Camry C?
I think.
That's what I tweeted at.
So yes, I actually do have Twitter on my phone, but it's not very, yep, it's Camry C.
There it is. Camry C.
I'm learning with Twitter still.
It's just a little note here and there. You just send a note and rock and roll. Well, Camry, this has been great. Is there anything out there? Oh, here, look. How does she think of Greg Anderson? Everybody wants to know what you think of everybody before you go into this. What is your opinion of Greg Anderson?
Everybody in Pro Stock is great competition. They've all accomplished a whole ton. Greg has also accomplished many championships, and he works hard with KB all year round. So I definitely have respect for him, and I'm excited to get to race against him. We tested with him in Florida last week.
Excellent. Okay, so what about the that whole elite versus KB rivalry thing that you are not a part of or affiliated with? Like all of a sudden, you're kind of injecting another planet into the solar system. Okay, you're
I'm just staying neutral. I'm not picking any rivalries.
I like it. Well, it's going to be a look at the McGahays, right? They're out there in the middle of it. There's cars everywhere. Yes, Switzerland. I like it. I like it. Camry, thank you very much. Final thought for the WFO audience. If there's something you want to say to them or leave it to them or encourage them, go ahead and do it right now. I'm excited about your season.
Well, thank you for everybody who has said nice things and encouragement through this whole Pro Stock progress and announcements and everything else. And thank you for supporting us. And hopefully we can make you proud when we go out in Pomona.
Okay. What do you think about a comment like this? What do you think of this comment? She is just so
very
cute.
Nice. Thank
you. Do you like that? You okay with it? You're okay with being cute. Okay.
I don't really get offended easily. It's just my dad's a little on the rough side.
Right.
So, I think anybody who's supporting us is super awesome. I appreciate it tons, and the cute does not bother me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, some people want to be tough, right? And you're
Yeah,
cute.
I
Give us
don't care.
Justin, some of your PDRA people are coming in. What do you think of that Mark Caruso
He's my
guy?
favorite.
You like him?
Yes, he
Yeah.
is awesome. My dad
He
is
is.
my biggest supporter, along with my papa and my mom. And my mom is actually going to be at Pomona. A lot of people have not met my mom, but I'm excited to have both my parents and my grandpa at Pomona.
Okay. What is the correct spelling of her first and last name? What do you want her, like a social security number, Gary? You can't do that, Gary. No, it hasn't been spelled differently here. It's with a C. CC.
So a lot of people refer to me as a Toyota. I prefer not to be called Toyota, for anybody wondering.
Right.
It's spelled differently, but I don't get upset when people misspell it. Like, I truly don't care. But it's RIE, not
Right.
Y.
RIE, not RY. RIE,
Mhm.
which I like that. And the Caruso part, you should be able to figure that out. All right,
Yeah, it's not
Camry,
that hard.
appreciate you coming on. This has been great, right? Like, I'm so excited. I really
Yes,
think
thank you.
here's my opinion of your deal. I think this is the best decision you could have made given the options that are out there, short of going Top Fuel Racing, right? Which is a different, you're a door slammer girl, or excuse me, I don't even want to characterize it, right? But you've been running Outlaw 632, etc. This is good for Pro Stock. I think it just increases the storyline in Pro Stock. So I'm excited for you, and
Thank you.
can't wait to see how it all works out.
I'm excited to see you out in Pomona, hopefully, and thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, of course. Are you going to do the AZ test? Was that confirmed? AZ test?
Yes, I will be there, and then my birthday is Monday, right before Pomona, so I will be at Disney on Monday.
There you go. So you're Aquarius as well.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. It's an affliction,
Awesome.
but it is what it is. All right, Camry, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Say hi to your dad and your granddad. There goes Camrie Caruso with us here on WFO Radio. What do you think about that? Let's get some comments in the comment section, guys. What do you think about Camry and what they're going to do in Pro Stock? And they got those Tanner Gray engines, which are now their engines. Mario and Luigi. They've all got names. The car is Marge. The other car is Henry. Mario, Luigi. We learned all of it thanks to Camrie Caruso, and great follow-up questions and behind the scenes by Taylor Nobile, giving us some little insight and what was going on behind the scenes. That's what we like. Next time we have your Aunt Jackie on, you got to give us a couple of those as well. That's really great stuff. All right, put your comments in the comment section, guys. Let's hear what you have to say about the entire week of programming. We heard from Alan Przensky. We heard from Greg and Aaron Stanfield. We did the WFO Ignition broadcast. And now we're heading into the weekend where Saturday, I hope to go racing at Palm Beach International Raceway, while a lot of cars are over on the west coast of the state in Bradenton for the U.S. Streetcar Nationals. But very exciting as we're getting ramped up here on WFO Radio. Let's see what people have to say. And first, though, let me tell you, 35% off right now, the WFO merch store. You can go to the website, WFOradio.com, and get any one of these deals for 35% off. There's iPhone cases. There's, speaking of Greg, WFO masks. There's all kinds of stuff at WFOradio.com. Appreciate you. Our Patreons. I mentioned the Patreons yesterday and got a bunch of Patreons. People signed on for the year, right? They're joining up with WFO Radio to you get a little swag, you get some stickers. I send you a patch, I send you a pen, I send you a bunch of stuff. But most importantly, you are behind the scenes in the WFO universe. Go to patreon.com/WFO Radio, or just go to our website and click on Patreon and you can join. And then you'll get the Monday Motivation special for Patreon show, which is just me kind of setting the table for the week, what we got going on. But as the racing season ramps up, there's a lot of details in there, a lot of information for the Patreons behind the scene. Plus you get special behind the scenes photographs. You get to watch the Ignition show and participate, take the show in whatever direction. And everybody that's a Patreon so far has really enjoyed it. So join patreon.com/WFO Radio. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, big sponsor. Cool to hear that Camry has been there 4 times. So that tells you a little bit about the programs over there. Maybe you don't want to follow in her footsteps, but you do want to try driving a dragster with a little instruction from Frank. Go to the Dragster Adventure, frankhawley.com. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. They say start your education at full speed. I say this is a great way to get started in a career in motorsports. Samtech.edu. Total Seal Piston Rings, leader in ring seal technology, totalseal.com. I'm always telling you about the Hidden Horsepower podcast for the engine builders out there, for the people who are looking for horsepower, trying to unlock that horsepower. But in the end, though, totalseal.com is really a great place to go to find out all that information and learn about their great tools, like their ring filers made right here in the United States. If you're looking for tools, we debuted a brand new tool. It's a ring filer that you can use a cordless drill, right? They're available at Summit. How great is that? Total Seal really expanding their base. And then Marvin Rodak, rodakscoffeeandgrills.com, hot sauces and spice rubs, everything good. This is a type of sponsor that I can get behind because you don't have to be an engine builder. You don't have to be a racer. You can just be an interested fan who wants to support WFO and have a great conversation with Marvin Rodak. 817-924-6821. They still do it the old-fashioned way, the human way, at Rodak's with a phone call and a conversation to Marvin Rodak. If you want some free stickers, this is the address. Free stuff, guys, but you got to do the work. Self-addressed stamped envelope, right? Go to the Google and figure out how to do that. And you stamp it up, 2 stamps. I load up some stickers, send it back to you. Everybody's happy. P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33084. And, you know, if you want to send me other stuff, like the stuff that people sent me the other day, it comes through there, which is great stuff. Appreciate you. All right, let's see what everyone's got to say before we get out of here on a Thursday. And I go begin the quest for the tires on the GTO so I can go bracket racing. Yeah, this is, Palm Beach International Raceway is going to close at some time. So they say there's a lot of rumors about, whether or not it will close or not close. I'm planning for the worst, hoping for the best. I want to get out there on the track Saturday night, even with the GTO, and see what I can do. All right. Monica, one of our Patreons, excited to watch her race this year. I am too. Just an added element. And she's got the mentality and the support structure. So I think she's going to do well. Once again, great show, Joe. Thank you, Lonnie. You the man. Jerry, I think it's awesome. Congratulations on your new venture. Talking about the Camrie Caruso fan club, I am certain. Pro stock, all of that. I agree. Like, what, people want to talk about positive or negative. Like, are things moving in the right direction or the wrong direction? And I understand that people are, some people are in a fog of annoyance and disappointment from the last 2 years of difficult life. And it was, and it is. But look at the drag racers, man. Look at the drag racers. Austin Prock back, Ron Tobler, Joe Barlam. That's the big breaking news of today. That is huge news. We're all of us are woe is me in the sport. Like, what's a sport that can't support Austin Prock going to do in the future? Like, is this sport going to make it? And the answer is Austin Prock is back. Frank Teagues and the Montana brand getting back in and supporting the team. Ron Tobler pulled out of retirement. That's great personal information for me. The fact that, because Tobler's a friend, and the fact that Jimmy Prock and Ron Tobler are pulling the same rope at John Force Racing. Awesome. Just awesome stuff. So good stuff happening. Scott says, great show, Joe. Last show before your birthday. Birthday is Sunday. Yeah, I turn older, and it's exciting, right? My birthday happens before the season gets started every year, and so we inform the public, but it is Sunday. Sunday. Great show, Joe. It was nice getting to know Camry. I am a fan. Exactly the point of this interview. Get to know Camry, pepper her with questions. I know the internet was freezing up a little bit, but I think we got the gist. And, the thing is, you see Camry and her dad and her grandfather. They're totally invested in drag racing. They love it. Jay, always great show. Always Joe WFO. Thank you very much, Jay. Great week of WFO, great interviews, great guests. Very Pro Stock centric this week for you fans of Pro Stock. And what I would love is for people to take the YouTube link, and thank you, Camry, for sharing with the world that YouTube is hard, right? The YouTube, WFO Radio TV on YouTube. That's where we need you to subscribe and share and watch and comment and like. And it's all part of their algorithm. And there's all kinds of stuff happening behind the scenes that we want you to participate in if you love the show. Go get yourself a win for your birthday, Joe. Thank you, Jim. I'm going to try. This will be my first run back out in the GTO, assuming I get tires. And this will be the first one where I feel confident, more confident. And there's a whole story about that, but let's get the tires first. Like I said, look out, fellas. She's looking for them trophies. I agree. She is. But at the same time, Pro Stock is very, very challenging. And so there has to be the allowance of a learning curve for Camry, right? The expectations can't go up through the roof. Just let it be. Let's see. Great week of show and good luck racing this weekend. Happy early birthday, Joe. Says Eric. Thank you, Eric. Eric is also a Patreon. A lot of people supporting WFO. All our most diehard people supporting WFO behind the scenes. Trying to make it worth your while, guys. Mike Firebird, you should have asked to be in the Pro Stock car. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Maybe in the future. You know, there's always been talk about a burnout or something somewhere. I was happy that Camry appreciated my hands-on attitude towards Pro Stock. I think Michael Lee Haight says, I think this is so awesome. Camry was in juniors and with my son. Got to watch her from the get-go and now continue in her Pro Stock adventures. Go Cam. Agreed. This is the refreshing of the tree of drag racing, right? Like, you know, you prune it back and then new shoots grow. And it's very generational. The generation that is now coming of age, the Mason McGahays, the Camrie Carusos, soon. And I think a lot of people have learned that, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but maybe in the past, the I get to drive parents realized that while it is definitely fun, and I'm not saying anything about Mark not driving, I want Mark to drive, but like I get to drive because it's my team and I built it. And if you know, you want to drive, you got to go do it on your own. That's really hard these days. And you look at all the second generation drivers in other motorsports, it's just part of it. And so for an older person to stay in a car forever and ever and ever, that's fine. And it's great for them personally. But I think that young fans need to see young drivers if they're going to get interested. It's just a sad ageism thing. Like, hey, look at this young person. Oh, that's a bunch of old people doing that. Well, yeah, it is. Well, I'm a young person, and so I'm not into that because I don't do a bunch of things with a bunch of old people. I do things with young people because I'm young. Is that really that hard to relate to? It's not. It's not. That's how it works. And so when you got a Mason McGahay and you got an Aaron Stanfield and you got a Troy Coughlin Jr. and you got a Camrie Caruso and you got all of those people out there, and then, you know, the middle agers like Dallas Glenn and Kyle Koretsky, who's over 30 but still super young. Hey, what do you think of this sport? Oh, look at all these people. Like, yeah, man, I'll watch that. It's as simple as that. What's good for the sport? So we shall see. We shall see. KB Racing, Nitrofish Racing cannot be overlooked. Oh my gosh, no, definitely. Kid Chaos was on a tear at the end of last year. He could be a favorite coming out. In fact, he was low ET of the final round of the final run of the season, just beaten on a hole shot by an unencumbered Greg Anderson who had the pressure off, right? Like, I won the championship. I can go do my thing now. And he did it. Strutmaster has a weapon also. Yes, yes. Good show and well done, Joe. Thank you very much, Tony. Tony's doing trophies in Zolani. Joe, will Don Prudhomme be involved with Austin Prock? Lonnie, how dare you? I don't know, but I don't think so. That is my hot read, but we'll find out soon enough. We'll dig deeper. Jerry, happy birthday, Joe. Hope you have an amazing day. Me too. I hope it's really great. We're going to watch some AFC championship games or watch some championship games. It's going to be great. NFL Sunday. It was great to see Austin Prock returning this year. Looks like a lot of great action ahead for this race season. Best season ever coming at you, 2022. It was supposed to happen in 2020, and we all know what went south. So we're just going to kick it back 2 years and go out there and have a great season. All of you out there, this is what I will say to you. Get your tickets. Talk is cheap. Go onto the website. Pick your favorite race and go. Show all these teams who got involved. Tony Stewart, who came in, Ron Capps and Antron, who started their own teams and took a huge personal risk. Camry and Mark Caruso for getting involved in the sport. Show them that you've got their back by showing up at the racetrack and buying some tickets and coming out to somewhere, whether it be to one of our WFO meetup events, which could be the U.S. Nationals, which could be Vegas 2. We don't know just yet. Could be them both. Good luck in the GTO this weekend, and happy early birthday. Thank you, Chuck. They're a good racing family. The backbone of the sport is built on racing family. Absolutely. Absolutely. The sport is so challenging. Honest misspelling. Nobody knows, Lonnie. No, man, because the reason I know it was honest is because Austin is not. He's a great kid. Like, he's a really nice kid, guys. I don't know if you have gotten to see the real Austin Prock out there, but we're going to try real hard to make sure you know him. He's so willing to be helpful to the NHRA social media team, and he plays cocky because it's fun, but really, he's a super hard worker. He's Jimmy Prock's kid. Like, he knows respect, which is great too. Passing the torches, but still keeping them all lit. I like that. And that's how we're going to bounce up on out of here today. Well, guys, thank you so much. Those of you still watching out there, thank you for logging on to check out Camry. If you want to see more WFO, the YouTube channel, WFO Radio TV, is open and available. Check it out on YouTube, WFO Radio TV. And you can go and find it on YouTube or WFOradio.com. In fact, if you go to WFOradio.com, on the main page, you will see a button that says subscribe, right? And that button is the best way to figure out where and how you want to watch WFO Radio. Example, the free WFO mobile application, where you get everything. Enable push notifications. You can get that there. If you listen on some bizarre third level podcast feed, chances are it's there. If you listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, it's there. And the YouTube channel. But right now, I'm going to put the YouTube channel up in the chat section, and hopefully everybody that's watching right now will go there, like it, click the bell for notifications, and participate with the shows there. Comments, and put some comments in the bottom, not because you want to, but because it's helpful to WFO. And go like the Caruso page as well, because we all now know that YouTube is the future of all life on Earth. It's all going to be YouTube soon. That's what they say. No, most of our listeners are podcast listeners. Audio only. There's a place for audio only. It's called when you're driving, going over the road, listening on your way to the track, catching up with your favorite drivers on WFO, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and that mobile application available on WFOradio.com for iPhone and Android. Tony, happy birthday to me. Thank you so much, everybody, for the kind wishes. And I look forward to kicking this thing off. We'll be back next week with more WFO Radio. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio. Thanks to Camry.